What's going on, everyone? I am H.B.Y, Michael to those that know me better, and I'm coming to you with my predictions for Blackout 5, the mystery event, presented by King of the Dot and OVO. That's right, King of the Dot has once again teamed up with the Six God himself, Drake, to put on a spectacular 2 days of battling, following in the tradition of Blackout 4, with the exception of the two main events that have been announced. The rest of the card is going to be a complete mystery until the battlers hit the stage at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. There's 28 of the most elite battlers in the United States, Canada, and the UK that will be hitting the stage. Now, we could talk for hours about the potential matches at Blackout 5 because there are literally hundreds of different combinations of names to put together for this card. So right off the bat, I want to know from you guys, who do you think will be battling each other at Blackout 5? Leave a comment down below. I'll also be leaving in the description who I think will be battling each other at Blackout 5. Keep in mind, you've got everyone from Dumbfoundead to T-Rex to Serius Jones, Illmaculate, Chilla Jones, Madchild from the group Swollen members, 24/7, Osa, Daylyt, the elites of this battle shit. But let's get into these two main events. For day one, you have a debut versus a return, as Hitman Holla, representing St. Louis, Missouri, Mr. Ballgame himself, a battler with 3 of the 5 most viewed battles in URL history, is making his KOTD debut against the return of Shotty Horroh. The Mosh Team representative out of Manchester, England, is making his return to KOTD for his first official battle since Nestle at Blackout 3. Also keep in mind, Shotty recently returned to battling after an 18-month hiatus against Tony D at Don't Flop's Manchester vs. London event. This is definitely a battle that I've been wanting to see for the last couple years. They're both pretty similar stylistically. Hitman Holla is regarded in the United States as being one of the most dynamic performers in battle rap, while Shotty Horroh has gained a reputation in the UK for being one of the most energetic battlers. They both bring some spectacular angles to the table. This is definitely going to be a hard one to call, but I'm going to say that Hitman Holla is going to win this battle 2-1, with Hitman taking the first and third rounds, while Shotty takes the second. The first round is going to be very close. They're both known for having some explosive first rounds, but I think Hitman's going to edge it a little bit more. For the second round, I think Hitman's going to conserve his energy a little bit. He's still going to have some hard-hitting lines, but Shotty's still going to ride out his first round momentum into the second round. But when it comes to that third round, I think Hitman Holla is going to be a little bit more consistent. Shotty has a habit of falling back on freestyles and not remembering his third round material for the most part. But either way, this is going to be one of the most heavily debated battles of the entire card. And for the main event for day number 2, we have a motherfucking title match, as Pat Stay, the reigning defending King of the Dot champion out of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, will be defending his KOTD title chain against Charron, representing Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Both of these battlers have some of the most extensive resumes within KOTD. Pat Stay has cemented his reputation as being the top Canadian battler in KOTD long before winning the title chain back at World Domination 4 in 2013 against Arcane, as he's battled the likes of Arsonal, Marvwon, Head Ice, and many more. Meanwhile, Charron has battled extensively over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, battling gradually better and better competition, and his path to being the #1 contender for the KOTD title chain has come to a head in the last year and a half or so, thanks to having some standout performances against the likes of DNA and Charlie Clips on KOTD, and also beating Arsonal back at Don't Flop's 5th birthday weekend in 2013. Hell, Charron made it to URL first last year, battling Shotgun Shug on the Summer Madness 4 warm-up card back in September. This is definitely going to be a hard-fought battle for both of these guys. Charron's definitely going to have some insane freestyle rebuttals and some good angles. Meanwhile, Pat Stay is one of the most dangerous and well-rounded battle MCs in Canada. He can be the bully, he can crack jokes, he has freestyle rebuttal abilities, and his crowd control is second to none. But as far as the outcome, I think this battle is gonna have a very controversial ending, as I think that Pat Stay will take this battle 2-1 against Charron, winning the second and third rounds while Charron wins the first, but I don't think that Pat Stay is going to be walking out of the Queen Elizabeth Theatre the King of the Dot champion. It kind of seemed from his Daylyt battle back in November that Pat Stay really didn't want to be the champion anymore. Meanwhile, Charron has been jumping through hoops and all sorts of other obstacles to get to be the #1 contender, and it seems like he really wants this chain way more than Pat Stay does. Meanwhile, I don't think Pat Stay is necessarily going to phone in his performance for this particular battle and say that he was just simply more concerned with preparing for his battle against Calico at the Boston Massacre card in May. And also, I think that Charron learned a little bit from his TheSaurus performance last year, where he was just kind of okay against TheSaurus. I think Charron is going to be in his DNA zone for this particular battle, and if you remember his battle against DNA, he had the kind of hard-hitting punchlines that many had not seen from Charron previously. Either way, this is going to be the biggest Canadian versus Canadian rap battle this year. And those are my predictions for Blackout 5, but I want to know from you, who do you think is going to win the respective main events for Day 1 and Day 2? Who do you think will have the best performance? And because this is the mystery event, I really want to know from you down in the comments below who will be battling each other at Blackout 5. I'm definitely interested to see what matches you think will go down at Blackout 5. But if you're like me and you can't make it up to Canada, make sure you go to KOTDTV.com and order that live pay-per-view for both days. Chris Mitchell from BattleRap.com and Dirtbag Dan are going to be doing pre- and post-battle commentary throughout both days, and you will get to see the live crowd reaction to these mystery battles being announced. But that's going to do it for me. You're all fantastic. Continue to stay awesome, and I'll see you next time. Cheer!